So Donald Trump has made it official, or at least semi-official. He's picked Indiana Governor Mike Pence as his running mate. He was supposed to announce that today at a press conference at 11 a.m. in Manhattan, but he said he postponed that because of the terror attack in France. So instead, at around the same time, he sent out a tweet, tweeting, "I am pleased to announce that I have chosen Governor Mike Pence as my vice presidential running mate. News conference tomorrow. That'll be Saturday at 11 a.m. First of all, Dominic, this notion that he's withholding the announcement because in deference to the attacks in Nice. Then he goes ahead and he tweets it out at the same day. I mean, the emperor wears no clothes on that one, right? This was all because he wanted the news cycle to himself and it would be overshadowed?
No, it's because Trump nor Hillary, they don't want to be greatly criticized by the media. So what that means is that the news cycle continues. You just can't be on camera. It's as simple as that. So it's an unspoken reality of, okay, all the dead in Nice, you know, Hillary Clinton's going to stay off camera, and Donald Trump's going to stay off camera. But Trump was playing the game of, and this is why it's scary should he win. And believe me, he might win, because to him, this is just a reality show.
Well, he was being all super respectful to what happened in Nice, so I'm not going to announce the VP pick, except I just did.
But let's be real. It's not about being super respectful. It's about not being criticized.
Okay,
that's what it's about for Hillary and for Trump.
So what do we think of the Pence pick?
Well, look, I mean, Governor Pence is someone who served in Congress, so he has the experience to work with Congress. I can see, that was something that was a concern for Trump, was that he really needs somebody to work with Congress besides himself.
He's got the experience because he served in Congress for so long.
That's exactly right. He served in Congress for, I think, 4 terms, 3 or 4 terms.
He's a principled guy, though, Richard. And
very much so. He's a Christian first.
How's he going to react?
In his words.
How's he going to react when Trump says something that is antithetical to his principled positions?
Well, look, he's criticized Trump on 2 occasions at least. Once when Trump mentioned the race of a judge could have something to do with the judge ruling against him.
Could have. Would have, he said.
So he criticized that. He also, Governor Pence also criticized Trump when he said, he made the remark about banning Muslims from this country and said, that would be unconstitutional.
Right, and he's still willing to sign up to be the vice president. So he's just going to eat it if Trump starts saying things
I don't see that. He's a very principled person. So I don't think he would publicly come out and say something, but I think behind, in the room in those discussions, he would give him his true opinion.
And now for the Democratic response. Shelley, what do you think of the Pence pick?
Well, I think Pence was in trouble in his race for governor in Indiana. He was in a dead heat. He has a lot of criticism against him in Indiana, both by the conservatives and the Democrats. He was not in safe shape there. Whether he brings something to Trump, I mean, he's not very flashy. Not that you need flashy with Trump, but it depends who he debates, honestly, for the vice president on the Democrat side. Whether he can hold his own other than being somber and Christian and thoughtful and principled, but whether he has any pizzazz or he's just going to be out-pizzazzed by Trump, I think is going to be relevant. People really would like someone who's there, particularly with someone, frankly, who's sort of out of the mainstream as Trump, who they view as, if something bad happens, is a respectful person to run the country. I'm not sure they're going to feel that way.
Very quickly, Dominic, anybody going to vote for Trump or vote against Trump because of Mike Pence?
No. Okay. Let me just say this, but I just want to go back to your original point when you said his he's so principled. One, it's all about politics. It does not matter what any number 2's positions are. You're going to get in line, whether you're a Democrat or Republican, with what number 1 says. So you can disagree all you want to. Now you're on the ticket and you're going to toe the company line. It's almost like we spend time talking about the party platform. It means absolutely nothing. All it is for reporters. They don't even adhere to it.
All right, well, towards that end, I want to go through some of the differences in the policy positions that don't matter between Mike Pence and Donald Trump. First of all, on the Muslim immigration ban, Trump is for it and Pence is against it. In fact, Pence even tweeted out calls to ban Muslims from entering the U.S. are offensive and unconstitutional. That might be difficult conversation that he has one-on-one with Donald Trump. The war in Iraq.
Can I just stop you? It's not a difference of opinion if someone says something is unconstitutional. They could actually agree. But he says, as a matter of law, it's unconstitutional.
That sounded a lot like a disagreement, because I've never heard Donald Trump have any question about the constitutionality of a Muslim ban.
Well, no one's allowed to really ask him very many questions about constitutionality.
All right, let's go back to the issues. The war in Iraq, as we were showing you before, Trump is against it, or was against it. Pence was for it. He voted for it. And on free trade, like the Trans-Pacific Partnership, Trump has railed against that. Pence actually has come out in support of that. And so, Richard, how do they square those issues? I mean, if I'm at a vice presidential debate, or if I get a few minutes alone for an interview with Mike Pence, those are the first questions I'm going to ask.
Well, first and foremost, what's going to happen is, as Dominic said, I'm the number one. What I say, it's my administration.
It's as simple as that.
If you have something to say and you can convince me otherwise, please do. You know, we look at some influential vice presidents. You look at under President Bush. And now I can't think of his name, Dick Cheney, right?
I was about to say Quayle.
Yeah, no. But he was very influential in the Bush administration. But nevertheless, it was Bush making the decision. So it's very easy. It's my administration. I'll make the final decision.
Pence does have a record, as we know, on certain issues, including reproductive health, LGBT issues, his position on Carrier when they left Indiana. He's got some baggage. Don't worry. There'll be plenty to go after him.
Everybody's got baggage, including Hillary Clinton, Secretary Clinton.
I'm glad the Assemblywoman said that. I mean, now maybe you still consider this principled, but when you're discriminating against an entire group of people, in this case gays and lesbians, how is that principled?
But the issue was simply this: if
But
you
he's the
have
governor.
a private establishment, then
Right.
you should determine who you want to serve and who you don't want to serve.
But
He was
but we
saying
see how
government
well, we see how well that went over.
Yeah, well, it
Agreed.
didn't
I
go
mean,
too
listen,
well.
we're talking about the civil rights movement. You know, but
Exactly.
it all depends though on what type of private organization you have. If you have a private golf club and you have membership, guess what?
So
You can
Andrew
discriminate
says
against
it's
everybody.
principled. I say it's nothing but
Well,
pandering.
let me add to that, because there was Mike Pence was at the center of a storm when it came to religious freedom laws.
Yes.
It got a lot of attention about a year and a half ago. I think it was
Yes.
March of 2015 when this all went down. And it also led to a pretty dramatic television interview that he did. So when it comes to Mike Pence's policy positions, as you know, he signed one of the more restrictive abortion laws in the country. We've talked about that. He signed the religious freedom law, widely considered discriminatory against gay and lesbians. And he's a climate change denier. But here's the interview that I was talking about with George Stephanopoulos when it came to that religious freedom law and all of the controversy that surrounded it.
Yes or no? If a florist in Indiana refuses to serve a gay couple at their wedding, is that legal now in Indiana?
George, this is where this debate has gone with misinformation and
It's just a question, sir. Yes or no?
Well, there's been shameless rhetoric about my state and about this law and about its intention.
You know, say what you want about Donald Trump. His position on gay rights or transgender bathroom access has actually been a little more progressive than the mainstream of the Republican Party. Now with Mike Pence on board, this opens up the entire issue once again.
Well, it opens up the issue with the general electorate, but to the base, they're going to say bravo.
Yeah, no, I agree.
They're going to be in line, and it's going to produce millions of dollars in campaigns. Why else would Donald Trump pick somebody like that? The Assemblywoman was nice. I forgot the word that she used. I'll use the same word I used last night. The guy is boring. Now we know he's quick on his feet because he used to be a radio talk show host. And maybe Donald Trump said, I need somebody who's the total opposite of what I am. But I mean, could you watch this guy speak for 5 minutes? Governor Pence?
Yeah, I probably could, but I've got a
I
high
don't think I
threshold.
could.
I've got a high threshold for pain.
Okay.
Richard, you don't want to. Do you want to see this as an issue in the general election?
Well, I don't think it's going to be much of an issue. I mean, the issue,
I think this makes it
one of the
an issue.
One of the major issues that have taken place is whether or not you should support conservatives support gay marriage. I mean, that's been decided now that gay marriage is the law of the land right now. So that's an issue that's really off the table. So
which is lovely, but it seems like Mike Pence's nomination as vice president puts gay rights issues back on the table.
I don't think so.
Can I
don't
just
think so
say-
because he will be the vice president, and certainly it will come up. But the question will be to Trump: do you support this particular legislation? Trump would probably say no, I don't, and that will be the end of the discussion.
I just would say today I got a note from a friend in Yonkers. raised a Republican family all his life. He's changing parties based on this. This particular guy, for the reason you said, there are people for this reason and for actually what he did about trade in Indiana, there could really be repercussions for choosing this very conservative person.
With everything that the Republican Party would seem to have going for it in this election, I don't know if the culture wars are where it wants to go. And I get the last word in this segment. Up next, the Trump circus pulls into Cleveland Monday for the start of the convention. Richard and I will be there. We're going to try to predict what's going to happen in this unpredictable season with this very unpredictable candidate.